Today it was announced by Dynamite Comics that they will be doing a new crossover, and it is between Tarzan and Red Sonja. It will be done by, the comic will be done by Gail Simone, and I've forgotten the artist's name, but the cover artist is Adam Hughes. But I've forgotten the interior artist's name. But, yeah, Gail Simone, who, actually, I believe, yeah, she's about to, or already finished, wrapping up the Conan Wonder Woman comic that, that DC and Dark Horse had come together on. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, she's also done a lot. Gail Simone's obviously written a lot of Red Sonja. I don't know if she's written Tarzan before, but anyway, yeah. So Red Sonja is part of Dynamite, even though she is kind of tied into the Conan mythos in a way. And I think it's interesting that we're getting a Tarzan crossover because, yeah, they live in vastly different worlds. I mean, Tarzan lives in the 18th, 19th century, early 19th century, whatever. I get mixed up on my centuries, but yeah, 1800s. He lives in the 1800s in Africa, and Red Sonja lives in this mystical, world, mystical Dark Ages type world, Dungeons and Dragons shit. But yeah, Red Sonja's had her share of crossovers. She's teamed up with Spider-Man in a crossover that Dynamite and Marvel did. Ugh, I'm getting all mixed up today. Marvel and Dynamite came together to do a Spider-Man Red Sonja crossover because they did that when Red Sonja was under Marvel, and it was actually pretty fun. It was actually, looking back on it, pretty fun, even though continuity-wise it makes no sense, because the comic came out right when One More Day was happening, and the comic feels like it takes place in its own universe, so in a weird way it kind of makes you feel better, because it really focuses on Spider-Man and Mary Jane's relationship as it's being torn apart. So it's kind of a swan song, really. You guys, if you can, find Spider-Man Red Sonja. It's actually a pretty fun crossover. But I digress. So, Red Sonja and Tarzan. Now, this might work. You know, it is kind of odd that we're these two are meeting, even though they lived in vastly different timelines and universes. But then again, Spider-Man and Red Sonja did the same thing, and how they did it was the sorcerer Kulan Gath found this ancient relic and brought his world into theirs, and Red Sonja's spirit inhabited Mary Jane's body for a time. So that could be the case here, because they did say that the story revolves around this explorer who's really a dark sorcerer who's going to bring Tarzan and Red Sonja together, and there's going to be a bit of a attraction between Sonja and Tarzan, which I find interesting because, and you may be thinking, well, what about Jane? You know, Tarzan's true love, Jane. True, but it could be the same. We could be looking at the same kind of what's the word? Situation. Man, I am just all kinds of mess today. That's what happens when you don't sleep, when you only get 5 hours of sleep. Oh boy. But anyway, I digress. So with this, it could be the same thing that, you know, Red Sonja's sword is somewhere in Africa, and Jane takes a hold of it, and Red Sonja's spirit takes control of her body. That could be the case. I also find it interesting that we're having a team-up between two half-naked heroes. I mean, Tarzan just wears the friggin' loincloth, and Red Sonja, of course we know, the chainmail bikini. Total badass half-naked heroes. Sure, I feel like that was kind of it almost felt like that was kind of what they were going with. Hey, they're both half-naked and they fight monsters. This ought to work. That's what I feel like the Dynamite was kind of thinking. I also find interesting that this is going to be solely Dynamite, because Tarzan and Planet of the Apes was done by Dark Horse. But yes, Tarzan is a in-public domain character, so I guess anyone can really use... I guess, yeah, he can be used by both Dynamite and Dark Horse. I guess that's kind of the rules. Well, unless this is a Dynamite Dark Horse crossover, but all I saw in the information was that it was just solely Dynamite. So I guess Dynamite's just doing this Tarzan Red Sonja crossover. And again, it does feel appropriate, even though they live in vastly different times and universes. Red Sonja has obviously fought monsters and thieves and bandits. In a weird way, Tarzan has done the same. Obviously, he went to Pellucidar, where he fought dinosaurs and psychic pterodactyl people. Yes, that was a real thing. It was a thing that happened. And yeah, I still have yet to read the Tarzan Planet of the Apes crossover because I can't get a hold of a trade. But I really want to read the Tarzan Planet of the Apes crossover. The only one I've ever read with Tarzan was the Predator Tarzan crossover by Walt Simonson and Lee Weeks, and that one was a pretty big disappointment. For those who I'll give you the long and short of it. Tarzan. This is more of a Tarzan story, and the Predators are a afterthought. And you'd think this would be such a perfect crossover. It's not. You really have to be in the Tarzan lore, and the Predators just feel like they're there. So that's the only one I've read, and that's not really been the best. Hopefully, whenever I get a chance to read Tarzan, Tarzan Planet of the Apes, it'll be a much more better enjoyment. And hopefully this will too. I enjoy Tarzan, and I enjoy Red Sonja. I wouldn't say I'm big fans of either, but, whenever I see them, I'll be like, oh shit, that's going to be fun. And hopefully this will be the same. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of Tarzan meeting Red Sonja? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.